Hello, baby doll pumpkin. Today's story is going to be about Disney. And we want to look at Disney because Disney is an A plus company, brand. It's everywhere. You all know the Disney movies, the children's, all the comics, everything that they've been incorporated into everywhere. We know them. They've touched us in a good way. When we're young, we grow up with it. It's embedded in our mind and our soul. All the Disney movies. However, the stonk of Disney tells a different story. And it's not a pretty story because it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. How can something that grew so well and took over the world and kept its magic, how come it sucked? We're going to go through that, all right? Look at this. So Disney, I know this is going to blow your mind, right? Disney underperformed the S&P 500 for 30 years. 30 long years. And look at the next part I write. The worst part is you got your thesis correct. Disney continued to grow, make an empire, take over the world. But it still underperformed the S&P 500. Can you imagine being a Disney shareholder and you see Aladdin, Peter Pan, and The Lion King come out and everyone talks about it? I love these movies. Love them. I still remember them. But Disney, the stock, DIS, no one cares. Nobody cares. Interesting to think about. Interesting. Don't worry, we're going to tie this into crypto, right? So, this is important. It's very important, okay? Look, I even have the chart here to show you. It's not like it didn't go down. It went up, okay? It went up. But it's just not good enough, right? Not good enough. Very amazing to see this happen. And it's frustrating, right? But I think about the crypto projects. So remember, this is why you listen to me. You listen to me for high value content. I make the links and the connections and the friendships that you can't see. In Disney, even though you got the thesis right, and even though people grew with it and love it, it did not translate to them opening their wallets, taking off their slippers, and buying DIS. It did not translate to that. In this case, anywhere near as much as just buying the S&P 500. Oh man, it's crazy to think about. It really is, right? So maybe we can look at a few things. So a lot of people will say, well, let's look at the parameters. Look at this. The market cap. I know a lot of people don't like this word. It's 188 billion today. Maybe it's just too big, man. That's it. Maybe yes, there's a role for kids' movies and this stuff to have in the world, but that's how much the market wants to value it. It could be that. It could also be mixed with the fact that just because you do something good and hit people emotionally does not mean they will then open their wallets and buy. There's a meme disconnect. Meme disconnect. So just because they feel good doesn't mean they buy. In crypto, right? Just because you make a good project does not mean people will buy your coin. Just because you made a good technology doesn't mean people buy the coin. Look at Uniswap, governance token. Just correlated with the rest of the market. So, and by the way, there's going to be other tech as well. So that's why people get this wrong. This is why we have edge. That's why I love doing what I do, because I get to see smart people with very high IQs go toe to toe with me, a peanut brain, and get absolutely crushed. Like they're sitting here doing 300-page threads on Twitter, looking at every single unit of evaluation of, different options, pricing, and all these DeFi complex stuff, blah, blah, blah. No one cares. That's 2% of the population. The 98% of us who can barely tie our shoes together, we are after something different. You got to think like the average person. You know, Tesla. Yeah, Tesla. Oh, wow, it's got, the electric car and all this stuff. Well, maybe half of Tesla's gains was just the fact that Elon Musk is the way he looks, his age, he sounds smart, and he memes. Maybe that's half of the reason why it pumped. People don't think of that. We think of that. See, in crypto, we know that. Well, that's not surprising to anybody. He made Doge go 220x. Doge broke the third cycle prophecy curse. Doge did a higher return in its third cycle than it did in the first two. Doge did 220x from Elon's pump. And in the previous cycles, it only did like 70 and like 50 or like 150 or something in cycle 1 and 2. So we know that power's there. And you already know from listening to my videos and seeing my Twitter, right? The community is the asset, not the code. So anybody who can mobilize and form a community, you're forming a network. And then you know from Metcalfe's law, eventually the market reprices, starts going parabolic in line with that. Like, we know this. But Disney, what about Disney's network effect? Doesn't it have a lot of people? Lion King, Aladdin, Peter Pan, all this cool stuff. I don't have an answer that's clear cut. All I can say to you is if I had to explain it, it would be like this. All right. You see, in crypto, all right, let's look at Disney share now. In crypto, for example, when do we make the most money? We make the most money made, right, when people go from hatred to neutral to love, all right? That's the actual most money. You buy a hated coin, and then people go switch to neutral. You get your first burst, and then if people end up loving it, you get your next burst, and oh my god, you've got burst squared. Burst squared here. There's going to be 2 rocket emojis for burst squared, all right? Now, you know what? Make it 3. We're doing 3 rocket emojis today. That's the most money to be made. You know, some people, they also say, okay, you can go from unknown to mild known to popular. That's also another way to think about it. You know, no one knows about it. And then middle people know, and then popularity. The problem with that unknown part is if you constantly have this mindset, then you are always going to be grifted. Because you're never going to get the unknown stuff. You can try, and there does exist opportunities out there. You're like, oh, no one knows about this, etc. Trust me, they do exist. However, the low-hanging fruit is getting eaten up. Okay, the low-hanging fruit is getting eaten up. Let's do a smiley with a yummy here, and then we're gonna do a cherry here. It's getting eaten up faster and faster. And the VC scum grifters, and we all know a lot of them exist in crypto and finance in general, they get the stuff unknown, and then now that they've packed their bags and the ICO's done, then they start shilling to the the different trusted influencers out there. All right, so you're thinking, oh wow, this was unknown, and what do the influencers tell you? You go, dude, no one knows about this. No one knows how to understand this. No one's read the white paper. Oh my god, you're so early. That's what they say to us. So you then logically conclude, oh my god, I've gone from unknown to mild known. That's what actually retails want to do, right? Retails, nobody actually wants to buy the unknown stuff. That's the funny part. Okay, I do, but most people don't. They want confirmation. They want to go from unknown to mild known, and then they want to get in. So then that's a confirmed trend, and they want it. They believe it's going to be going to popular because the influencers tell them. They're like, oh man, I don't know if you remember one of those scams, Polkamarkets in 2021. Oh my god, I know the exact influencers, the exact channels who shilled that absolute grift Polkamarkets. POLK, literally minus 99% down. Straight line, every unlock got dumped, and every influencer was like, dude, guys, prediction markets are going to be huge. And then you end up finding out that all these scum grifter influencers got given ICOs allocation, right? I'm not going to bother naming their names because they're all going to be irrelevant. I don't care how many viewers and subs they have. I think the people have had enough. I think we've got to kick them out. We got to kick them out. They're shilling and all that stuff. You guys, I know you're all drifting away from them because you've been hurt too many times. You don't want to go to the snake. The snake keeps biting you. So we understand the framework here. You make the most money going from hated to neutral to love, or unknown to mild, popular to popular. However, Disney. I think Disney. this chart, it has, so where it's barely gone up. Like, it's gone up, man. It's gone up. It just has barely gone up, right? I think it's a product. It's a victim of its own success. See, it was too good at the start. When Disney was making its stuff, maybe like 30, 40 years ago, you're talking about The Lion King and all this stuff being made, no one looked at it and said, this is trash. Lion King, terrible story and music. No one said that. Everyone said, oh my God, this is amazing. This should be worth a lot. So that's the problem, friends. So over time, you have value going up and to the right, okay? And this is where you think the value should be heading towards over time. And this next highlighter I'm going to draw is people's swings of their emotions in terms of how they think it's valued today. All right. And then obviously, as we know, time goes on, we go euphoric depression, euphoric depression, euphoric, right? That is probably a healthy asset we want to look at. That's exactly crypto, right? We like ding, ding, ding. Crypto moves like this, doesn't it? However, in something like Disney, I don't think it happened like that. All right. I don't think you got that. I think you got something like this. I think people knew at the start it was worth a lot. So it went up and then just like, yeah, that's all you're getting. I think that's what happened. I just think people understood it too much at the start. They go, wow, look at the quality of the art and the music and the children's movies and the stories. Wow, these are timeless. There's no way I'm going to like get rid of this thing at a huge discount. That's what happened. So there was never this super depression phase where it just gets wildly undervalued. So what happens is, to put it bluntly, it was probably like overvalued all the way back here, right? See here, this chart, what I'm showing here, maybe if it was a crypto, it would be down here, right? Think about that, right? Think about that. Imagine it was a crypto and like, let's say actually here, yeah, crypto drops 90%, right? Let's say this happened. Let's go down 90%, friends. Bang, I'm going to mark it right here, $1.20. So I'm going to show you this. This is why, friends, we are so lucky to be in crypto. That's why I have 40,000 people telling me, no, it's trash. It's a Ponzi. It's a scam. And I'm like, yes, my libido is rising. Thank you. Keep selling. Keep selling. I'll keep buying. I'll see you in 2 years when it's popular again. Right? We love that. Look at this difference, friends. Because Disney never got depression, because everyone understood, like, man, this quality of work's too good, right? You only get 600% since 1993, right? 600%. So that's a 7x on your money. That is 30 years, right? But what if it moved like a crypto, right? So you got a 6 to 7x here. If it moved like a crypto, what's it going to be from here? Here we go, friends. There you go. 58x. 7x versus 58x. 7x versus 58x. Look at that. Now, I know it's 30 years because they're boomers, the boomer asset class stocks, but look at that. Look at that difference. 7 versus 58. If you put 10 grand and you made your 7x over 30 years, what's 70 grand going to do? But, if you've got 580K, hey, maybe put a deposit on a house, you get to do something. At least it's something, right? Of course we can do better, but at least, hey, this is pretty good. Big difference, right? Absolute big difference. But that's why I'm showing you it is possible to be a victim of your own success. Your quality of work was so good at the start that never really put it into everyone's mind that, hey, this thing should be undervalued or let's go euphoric or any of that, right? Now, there's obviously other stuff to do with it. It's to do with the cash flow. All of it's to do with the earnings. But I'm just showing you that you got your thesis right. The network of Disney went up. They made more money. But it just never went deep undervalued for you to get anything. That's it. Just stayed overvalued for like a long time, forever. So the meme of this is really important. The people who own this, they're different to the crypto investors. The subset of people who are participating in Disney and what they're betting on and the cash flows, completely different story, right? So this ties in to Mr. Warren Buffett. This is the thing, right? So Warren Buffett, he releases a letter to shareholders every year, and he always gives like tips and advice about investing, right? So look at this. He stresses that if you're a paper hand cuck, you're going to like lose big gains. And in his letter, he also talks about many of the losses he's took. And he's like, look, I'm not just doing this just to be like human. I'm just telling you, like, you just need like when you get a winner, that's it. It just takes over everything. One winner. He goes, I'm literally just a product of my winners. Because there's so many things, just they never took off, they never went out. And it feels like that in crypto, doesn't it? Like, in crypto, like we're like, oh, I got in this thing, but it only went like 7x and then it came back. How often does that story happen, right? So many times. You're just learning from me about the third cycle prophecy curse. There are people still holding on to Litecoin thinking it's going to do like a 300x again and all these other altcoins, right? But we know what time it is for those, all right? So he also mentions bonds, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it at all. He basically says if you hold bonds, like you're in an open relationship. That's right. You're in an open relationship. She's sleeping with everyone in the street. You've got to cook for her in the morning, and then you're not allowed to date anyone. Okay? You can't even like another girl's photo on Facebook. That's how little power you have in the relationship if you're holding bonds and stablecoins. Hey, I didn't say it. He said it. Warren Buffett basically, he said, like, dude, you're literally not going to make it. And it's true. I've showed stats where your returns in the stocks are very high compared to bonds, and I'll show you. And I have it right here. Look at this. 100 years of the stock market beating inflation, right? So stocks, this is the real return, okay? So this is, you remove inflation out. So stocks get 6.4% per year. That's your real return, all right? You're gaining on average 6.4%. And look what bonds give you, only 0.5 to 1.8% per year. So, by the way, bills is the actual short-term stuff. So when people do like really short-term, like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, they're getting the bills rate, all right? Bonds is when someone's like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a 3-year bond and get this rate, which you're also a cuck as well. But look at this, garbage returns. You're not beating inflation, okay? And the best part for us holders is people always get trapped. If you go back in history, people see inflation rising, they're like, oh, I don't want to own stocks, so I'll just put in the bonds, and then they do. And then if you look back in that period of 5 to 10 years, stocks ended up moonshotting just at one random point. They just keep going up, and it makes up for everything. And those people in the bonds and the bills, they have no chance, absolutely no chance, because you're too focused on the narrative and stuff, right? So that's why I say, man, crypto's a gift. Okay, crypto's a gift. This is stocks, and look what bonds do. You're trash. But people always want this need for short-term safety, you know. So Warren Buffett, you know, we got all the evidence, all the wars, all the black swans in the past 100 years. Those are the results. All right. Is this time different? No. You know, you had the Spanish flu, you had World War I, World War II. You had all the bombs, all the other wars in between. You had so many things, Great Depression, all of this stuff, friends. And still, the stock market gave you good returns. And bills and bonds sucked. Throw all of that together. So you've got to learn from history, man. If you don't learn from history, be my guest. Go join the poor line, because that's what's going to happen, okay? So, Warren Buffett, always saying long-term returns. You know, So I'm here to challenge you because, you know, whenever I hear these great gospels, I'm like, all right, I want to find the case where it didn't work. I want to find the case where it didn't work. You got to be humbled, man. You got to be humbled. You know this in life. In life, you can do everything right. If you're a young man, you can do everything right. She can still leave you. Everything right. She could just get bored. If you're a lady, same thing. You can do everything right for that man, but something just switches in his head. He just wakes up. He's out, right? You can do everything right at a job. They can still get rid of you. You know, maybe the boss's son turned 18, doesn't want him to be at home, so they replace someone in the office. You can do everything right in life. You still got to be prepared to take the punches in the face. You have to be prepared. Even if you got your guard up, you still have to say, hey man, even with my guard up, I will still get punched in the face. And then in the guts, and then in the nuts. While you're on the floor. Okay, it's not gonna give you an easy time. Because look at this, man. You got the thesis right. You know, if I was holding Disney, man, if I had kids, man, I would not be taking them to see a Disney movie. It just remind me every time, I got the thesis right. You took over the world. You touched everyone's hearts. You pulled everyone's strings. And you still couldn't pump. 30 years? 30 years is a long time, man. Oh. And then Doge goes 200x in like 4 months. Imagine. I know why stock people hate crypto so much. We're a bastardization of everything that they think is reality. So people in stocks, they think everything must have a cash flow, therefore it has value. Nope. The people who buy businesses and stocks, just the way everything's set up, the meme about it, they rotate around value like that. In crypto, we're network effects. We're such a long duration asset that there is no cash flow now. There might not even ever be. It's just a community for being a community, okay? Like, hey, gold produces no cash flow. What's it worth? Okay, but it's used in industrial. Yeah, it's industrial use case. It's only worth like 10% of the price of gold. You don't need it at all. So should gold be worth zero? It produces no cash flow. See? But then you might say to me, oh, but gold and oil, another commodity, they could produce cash flow if you did something with them. Now you're asking the right questions. Now you're talking to me sweet things. Because in crypto, yes, I have a community of, say, 1 million people in one network. I could get cash flow out of them. I could aim my megaphone into the 1 million people network and say, buy this thing, buy this shoe, buy these slippers, buy these socks. I could point the megaphone to them and mobilize them. I could. That's why the market gives it value, because it says, hey, even though your company has, say, 10,000 customers and you're producing money, that's actually worth less than a crypto network with 1 million people, even though we produce no cash flow. So friends, I'm going to write this down as our final message, right? Crypto, right? Crypto versus stocks, right? In stocks world, okay, the company with 10,000 customers who makes money is worth more, right? In crypto world, the community, network, family, tribe, cult, all these words, friends, yeah, with 1 million people active in the network is worth more, even though it produces no cash flow. Look at that key difference. Right there, I've literally given you the juice right here. This is the key difference between why stock market people will say to you, dude, come to stocks, dude, we're real companies, dude, we own the company, dude, which they don't. It's all fake, okay? They own a ticker on an electronic symbol. They don't own shit. But this is the difference, okay? You want to know, hey, why do stocks move the way they do? Why does crypto move the way it does? Why do they have different memes? Why do the players in there talk and behave differently? This is it. This is exactly it, okay? This is the difference. In crypto, we're such a long duration asset. What that means is they go, yes, we make no money today, but we've got a megaphone and there's 1 million people. We could mobilize them and get money out of them over time. We could. And so the market will always give it value. And now you've learned something. Remember, friends, the low-hanging fruit. It goes away faster and faster with each cycle. You tell your mum you love her. We'll catch you next time.